happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. So we got another huge up. You guys can probably already tell by the title, it's going down. We're seeing yet another explosion on the set of Fox News The 5, this newest update. Things are getting crazy. As a host for now, Buttonhead, once again, I'm excited to get into the clips. Make sure you guys hit that like button for me, hit that subscribe button. Before we even get into it, guys, hit that like button, also hit that subscribe button. Without further ado, let's jump straight into it, folks.
Himself?
I've not been very political before. They try to paint me as like a far-right guy, which is absurd because I'm like making electric vehicles. I supported Obama. I stood in line for 6 hours to shake Obama's hand. Historically, a moderate Democrat, but now I feel like we're really at a critical juncture for the country. So people out there who are in the moderate camp to say, I think you should support Donald Trump for president.
I thought that was an interesting take. What do you think?
Well, piggybacking on Charlie Hurt's point, they weren't talking about amorphous dystopian hypotheticals. They were actually talking about economic development. They were talking about debt, energy, artificial intelligence. And you're watching two people, arguably the two of the most powerful people on the planet, agreeing about the state of the world and also talking about the future, not making up stories of the past like the Fine People hoax, which is what Harris and Liz Warren were pushing last night. When you look at this, think about those televised hearings when our politicians are talking about one issue and they have to be prepped by staffers bearing reams of research laid out perfectly for them, and they still don't know what the hell they're talking about. And yet these two guys, I don't know how deep Trump can go on this stuff, but he can at least talk about artificial intelligence. Kamala Harris is the czar of AI, and the only thing she knows about AI is that she could use some. And then her campaign, which kills me, said that it was two rich guys talking. So I guess like Apollo 11 was a bunch of white guys going on a road trip. It kind of celebrates. It's a defense of lethargy and ignorance. On one hand, you got a man who created an implant to help paralyzed people think. He builds rockets and cars. On the other hand, you got a guy who doesn't even get paid to be president. He could have retired, and he gets shot. But these are two rich guys talking. There's like this weird decline in the appreciation of achievement. These are people that we used to, when I was growing up, you'd put them up on a pedestal and say, I want to be Howard Hughes. Or I want to be Joe DiMaggio. In this case, they don't like aspirational efforts unless the government can take credit for it.
Right. That's a great point that Greg Gutfeld's making right there. They want to take credit for it, be able to, filter and censor everything that goes on every interview. And right here, this Elon Musk interview is definitely taking them. That's why it's breaking the internet, because it was uncensored, unfiltered. They could say and do what they wanted to do. The left had no say at all on what was going on. That's why Kamala Harris, her campaign, keep trying to push to say that this is going to be the demise of our democracy right here. Elon Musk and Donald Trump, like they're trying to fearmonger this because they had no control, no say in it whatsoever. And I love it, guys. We need more like this.
They don't like aspirational efforts unless the government can take credit for it. They mock private citizens when they do well because, it's just two guys talking and it's like two rich guys talking, and Waltz, Waltz doesn't have anything. He doesn't have a bank account. Isn't that amazing? No, it's not. It's kind of sad. I just want to touch on the 30-minute delay thing and watching people dunk on that. When you're an inventor who aims for big things, every day you have a failure to launch. Whether it's a rocket, whether it's a business, whether it's some social media experiment, that is, successful people fail every single day, and they fail big. The only people who don't understand that are actual failures. People who aren't successful don't understand how failure is necessary to succeed. Compare Musk's failure last night to Harris failing spectacularly in the 2019 primary. She failed horribly and still got a VP slot. And then in 2024, they wanted her off the ticket, and she ended up on the ticket. So that doesn't happen in the private sector. You own your failures. In the public sector, they just boost you on up.
I was thinking, when you mentioned the two rich guys having a conversation. What if it had been Donald Trump and Warren Buffett Would that have been a complaint? Because Warren Buffett is very supportive of Kamala Harris. It's like if you're rich on one end, then you're good, but if not, if you support Trump, then you're not good.
But the point that Greg makes is a good one. I mean, these are guys who've reached the pinnacle in the business world, and they're just two of them having a free-flowing conversation that Kamala is trying to convince us, or the Democrats are trying to convince us, is really a threat to democracy. It's a threat to democracy because they can't control the narrative.
Right.
And the amazing part of it is that Musk said, look, if Kamala Harris wants to come on X and have this conversation, I'd be happy to have her on as well.
See, that's the point that I love to hear. Elon Musk, all these outlets, these platforms are always so willing, open, and welcome to invite the other side on, but they never come, they never take up the offer because they're too scared, they're too afraid for people to see who they truly are. There's no transparency on the other side versus Donald Trump. He's a see-through administration. We can see exactly what he stands for, and we can see stuff that we're liking, I wish folks on the left would wake up and look a little bit more over to the right, because you could see straight through what Donald Trump is trying to do to improve our country, build us back up, make America great again. Like, stop it, guys.
First wants to come on X and have this conversation, I'd be happy to have her on as well. So I kind of like listening to some substance as opposed to talking for weeks on end about how Kamala just won't come out and speak. Although what she did do was she says that apparently last night, she says they're trying to control democracy, and so she started fundraising. Chip in $25 now so we can respond to their lies. It'd be real easy.
Chip in $25 or else they're going to end that's more of the fear mongering that we've been talking about, guys. They're trying to scare their voters into voting. Now they're trying to scare their voters into donating their hard-earned dollars, tossing their dollars away, just like they're going to be tossing their votes away by voting for Kamala Harris. I mean, come on. When are these folks going to wake up? Wake up. It's time.
Easy. Respond to their lies by, sitting down and having an interview, maybe even with Elon Musk. But, I liked hearing about an Iron Dome for the United States. I liked hearing about different things that could be helpful to us, some substantive things, and not the same stuff, that we've been talking about. And I really admire the two of them for what they were willing to say and what they were unafraid of. And, people are on Donald Trump all the time about the leaders of North Korea and Russia and China. He just talks about them being at the top of their game. He isn't praising them. He's speaking about reality. And, when Biden is there, Putin invades Ukraine, Iran launches, Hamas goes against Israel. And, he really is just recognizing the reality of the world. So I think that a lot of this and what the American people have to understand is it is during the Biden administration and the Kamala Biden-Harris that they censored information. They called us extremists, that they want to take us back as opposed to the free-flowing information of democracy.
How did you see it, Harold?
I listened to parts of it. Good to be with you, Charlie. Good to see you. I listened. I saw you yesterday, and I love both of you. I love the judge.
Wow.
I'd say a couple things. I listened about half of it. I don't care if they're poor guys or rich guys or middle-class guys. They're two guys who have been very successful. It's interesting. In July of 2022, both of these guys said negative things about one another publicly. Mr. Musk said something on Twitter saying that Donald Trump was too old to serve out another term and that he thought DeSantis would run running away. And I think Mr. Trump said some things about Mr. Musk as well. I'm glad to see that we all can agree that they can move beyond those things. Two, Kamala Harris has her vulnerabilities, there's no doubt. She's trying her hardest to tack to the center on a number of issues. It will be interesting to see during this debate. It appears that on Friday she's going to give a speech in North Carolina about her economic policies and about what differences or things that she aligns with.
Wait, is she going to speak on Bidenomics? Sounds like she's going to regurgitate or rephrase the Bidenomics, because Kamala Harris has come out and, just been stealing policy, yoinking them from left and right. She's even stealing from Donald Trump. We've seen her steal the no taxation on tips, policy. Kamala Harris is going to come out. Don't be surprised if she comes out regurgitating the Bidenomics points. Come on, y'all.
North Carolina about her economic policies and about what differences or things that she aligns with President Biden on. I do find it interesting that some people call her incompetent and they don't think that she can rise up to the ability. But then they assign all of the blame for everything that's happened bad in the economy. She's either smart or dumb. I happen to think she's smart, and we're going to get a chance to see on Friday whether or not she has real ideas and substantive ideas, or the beginning of that, to move the country to a different place economically.
I don't like that point that Harold's trying to make to say that she's either smart or she's dumb. Guys, she could be incompetent and still be running this country into the dirt, be the one in control, and that is the reason why we're in the current state we're in. I don't like that point that Harold's trying to make where we have to, on the right, pick and choose. Is Kamala Harris intelligent enough to be running this thing, or is she dumb enough to be running this thing into the ground? And I'm just like, guys, we can pick. It's the dumb part. She's not ready. She's not capable. She's not up for the task. And we can see that just based off of the way she's let this country basically autopilot itself, cruise control, while Biden slept at the wheel, guys, on the beach is what it seemed like.
Or the beginning of that, to move the country to a different place economically. I'll tell another thing about, I think, this coming Friday, and even as we get closer to the convention, President Trump had 28.5 million people watch him in his convention speech. I thought the first 25 minutes of that speech, Charlie and I were together, Dana and I were together that evening, was brilliant. I thought the remaining 60 or 70 could have been probably organized a little bit better. It'll be interesting to see if Vice President Harris, if she's able to, after this Friday's presentation, maintain the interest in her over the next week to see if she can get a big viewership as well. I hope she's able to. I think it's good for the country. Democrats shouldn't be confused, though. This race is extremely tight. It will remain tight for a while as we look at these states where the swing voters are. And Kamala Harris is going to have to be on her A game, and so is President Trump. I will say the other takeaway I had from the other night or last night, I thought there were things they talked about substance, but it reminded me that Biden's frailties kind of mask some of Trump's challenges going into this race. And now that President Trump is trying his hardest to find a way to go to challenge and to go up against Vice President Harris, you heard sounds of it, Judge. I would agree with you. Some of those ideas were interesting. Some I even agreed with. Then you heard parts of it that were not. There was a little pessimism. I don't think you praise China's leader and Russia's leader. There's nothing wrong with saying we have to beat them, but I think praising those leaders, that's just not, to your point, Greg.
He wasn't praising them. That's what I was saying.
Well, let's put it this way. I've never heard, Greg made the point that there was a time we elevated these leaders, but there were leaders I remember watching as a kid, President Reagan, Mr. Chrysler, John Johnson, who ran Johnson Pump. They would never elevate leaders that way. They would talk about the challenges and how we would overcome those.
It's the reality of what's going on, Harold. Wake up. I mean, when is this guy going to wake up to see Donald Trump is just simply saying, hey, if this guy is a powerful leader, this guy is a powerful leader, and then we got to let it be known, acknowledge that. I mean, what's wrong with acknowledging the facts of reality? I mean, Harold, if you want to live in that deranged state of false reality, go ahead. But I would like when my leader tells me, hey, we've got a fierce leader over here. But, of course, we're always going to think of ourselves as stronger. We got I don't want to say it right now, but we had a very strong leader in office. And no matter how much he, promotes or not even promotes, it just states the obvious, states the facts about these other leaders. It's not going to change the fact that he's an even stronger leader, Come on now, Harold. You're just that scared? You don't even want to just downplay everyone's leadership? I mean, I guess.
They would never elevate leaders that way. They would talk about the challenges and how we would overcome those. At least that's how I grew up. And I agree with you in that regard. But look, we got a big race in front of us, and I'm looking forward to every debate and every exchange between these two candidates.
Do you think we get to sit next to each other at the convention next week, Harold?
I can't wait.
We can write notes back and forth.
I can't wait.
You'll be seeing with us next week?
I have a picture with you on my phone.
Okay.
He shows it to everyone.
Yo, there we have it, guys. We're seeing that interview between Elon Musk, Donald Trump is absolutely sending waves throughout the internet, guys, sending shockwaves on the left too. We got the leaders. We got Kamala Harris trying to paint this picture to say, hey, guys, this is a threat to democracy. We can't have two private citizens with so much power, being able to meet together, interview, and push their narratives out to the American people without us first putting our filter on top. This is a blatant threat to our democracy. We need to watch out. Bunch of fear mongering coming from the left, where everyone on the right is like, this is a breath of fresh air. This is exactly what we've been looking for. Donald Trump, Elon Musk being able to meet, conversate freely, an open flowing conversation. This is the meat and potatoes that the American folks are looking forward to. Donald Trump, his administration is just an open door. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for transparency, whereas we don't want to see a bunch of covering up and standing in the way, blocking the view of what's truly going on. We got Harold here who would rather be, living in this false reality, getting fed these lies or told that these leaders aren't as strong as what they're put up to be. We got Donald Trump, a true leader who is not scared to big up, not even big up, but just tell the truth about other leaders, like, hey, this guy is not to be messed with, but guess what, I'm not to be messed with either. So I think we got a mutual understanding of not to mess with each other. And I think that's the point Donald Trump is trying to make, where Harold is just a big old chicken fraidy cat. He's scared of the truth, and what it seems like to me. Definitely hop in the comment section, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Harold Ford absolutely losing it once again. He's turned into the new Jessica Tarlov, guys. Hop in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Also, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button if you would like to see more content like this. I'll catch you guys on the next week.